So now that we got our character good to go, we're going to continue with working on our barricades. So I want to actually delete that little cube. What we need to do is create some sort of HUD that will allow us to display the messages on, such as the message from our UI message. So that way we can display it to our screen. So I'm going to go to our blueprint classes, player, create a new folder, call it HUD. So in here, I'm going to create a new widget, call this one W underscore HUD. And go to, let's see, we have our canvas panel. I'm just going to have a thing of text. I'm going to anchor it to the center. And size on the X, I'm just going to do 1000. So the alignment's going to be -1. All right, wrong direction. 1, 0.5, and we're centered. So I want to change the text to be aligned to the center. Call this one press F2 whatever, just for default. Okay, I think the font and all that's going to be just fine. Let's give this a name, TB underscore, what do we call it? Interact text, and set it as a variable. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and delete the tick and the pre-construct. And we need to think of how can we get our kind of info. Well, how can we need to pretty much make an event that will fire off whenever our interactable is no longer a null pointer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this. Well, I can actually do a check. So if temp equals, well, actually, let's think about, yeah, temp equals null pointer. I don't know why I typed temp. I want to do interactable. And hit result.get actor is valid when I perform that cast up top. So if interactable is a null pointer and temp is valid, then we need to figure out what to do here. So if that's the case, I think I'm going to fire off the event. Fire event else. Actually an else if interactable is valid and temp equals null pointer. And let's kind of see how that goes. I want to print out logs and see how it kind of fires between. I'm going to comment these two out. It is now a null pointer. It is now a valid pointer. And I'm going to set interactable to equal temp and interactable to equal a null pointer. And compile. I'm just going to comment this out as a whole. Oops, I think I just started rebooting the engine. That would have taken a while. Go ahead and restart the editor. And let's see what it says. Hopefully it only prints out as it alternates. Okay. It's not printing out at all. It prints out. And it prints out. And that's what we want. So it only prints out whenever it changes. So that's perfect. Now what we can do is we can simply try to create that event. So in the character, I'm going to do declare dynamic multicast delegate, do one param. As soon as it lets me scroll through. Oh, yeah, that's why. Oh boy. There we go. One param. Then let's just do F interact item or interact changed. And what we're going to pass in is a constant F string. And try to think for the name here. I guess on interact changed, maybe. All right, let's go ahead and set it up. So u property blueprint assignable F interact changed on interact changed. Then we're going to get the interactable. So we're going to do on interact changed dot broadcast interactable get UI message. And otherwise, we're going to empty it. So I'm just going to pass in an F string. That's literally empty. And compile. Close down the editor. Okay, let's relaunch. Open back the HUD. And what we're going to do is simply get layer character at index 0. We're going to cast it to Nazi zombie character. We're going to do on find event to on interact changed. I'm going to add custom event on interact changed. I need to change that. I see how this is working now. I'm just being stupid. Let's set the text to, let's see, grab you. Gonna get it. Set text. Text we're gonna set is the parameter that we're passing in. So let's compile and save and add it to our viewport. So go to Okay, where am I being stupid at? Blueprints, level blueprint, and we're going to set the HUD up in here. So let's see. Player controller, create widget. Class is going to be W underscore HUD. Add it to the viewport, and let's try it. So press F to whatever. Press and hold F to purchase. Now it's empty. Press and hold F to purchase. Empty. So that is working as intended. I'm going to remove the default text and simply speed up the rate in which, change this to 0.2. Yeah. I'm going to shut down the editor. And it should be pretty fluid. So whenever we're looking at the quote unquote door that we have, and whenever we look off of it, it should kind of transition at a decent rate. Right? It could definitely be a little faster, but still not bad. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll just do 0.1. I'm not gonna compile just at the moment, but we have it set up and working, and it's, in my opinion, it works quite well. Then we can just go through and add like a simple effect, such as like a fade, for example. Whenever we, like if the text is equal to nothing, we'll perform a fade on the visibility, and if it equals something, we'll just snap it right back. So now that the HUD's out of the way, we can get the text and set it up. Let's go ahead and add the cost to the text. So we go to our barricade.cpp. We have our cost, and we have our default message defined in interactable base. So by default, I want to make it add the cost to the text. So I'm going to create and override begin play. So protected virtual void begin play. Override it. Void a barricade begin play, and call super begin play. And here we're going to reconstruct that message. So UI message plus equals f string from int. So let's just do a quick Google on what the message is. World at war, Nazis, zombies, purchase. And hopefully there'll be something real quick. That's for building. Duh. So hold F to buy Olympia. So I'm going to format it kind of the same way. So change the interactable message. So press F to buy change it to get the name of the object. So I'm going to make another U property and call this one, it's going to be an F string. Call it object name. And I'm actually going to put this inside of interactable base because they're all going to have it. And object name equals default. by plus object name, and now we go to barricade plus equals need to wrap it in curly braces. So plus equals f string, do space cost plus f string from int cost plus closing bracket. And we might actually be able to just throw that in the constructor. But I don't know. Yeah, I want to do it in begin play and just see kind of what comes out of it. I like it to be kind of automatic to where I don't really have to worry about it. I can just change the name and the cost and it updates kind of automatically. All right, let's see what it looks like. Press F to by default, cost 500. Okay, so object name default, let's call this one just the door. All right, so that's not necessarily going to work this way. We're just probably going to end up, I guess we could construct it manually and just leave it. But at least we have an object name if we need it. So that'll be useful for things like our weapons. So we can go ahead and begin changing this to, let's see, press F to buy door cost 500, just same as the cost. And it'll just be the same. What in the world? Oh, gotta restart it. Okay, now it should be good to go. There we go. So the only other thing I'd probably change would be maybe set it up to be like a default for the UI message in the barricade. I don't know why I keep doing this. UI message plus equals, press F to buy object name plus cost plus string from int cost plus closing bracket and compile. And that will be done. I don't know why I didn't think of this like 5 minutes ago instead of wasting time. Okay. Change that to default. Press and hold F to buy default. Cost 500. So we just pretty much got to change the name from default, I think. we can take it. Change object name to door. And I want to leave it as that. So now it should say press F to buy door, cost 500, or whatever the cost is. So I'm happy with that. And I think we're pretty much good to go for our UI at the moment. So next up, we can set it to actually move the door. So this is going to be done via timers and that sort of thing. So we're going to set up a custom input, and we're going to be making use of the use function that we made to be overridable. So I will see you in the next one.